Hey everyone, Niels here with some quick pre-show announcements. We still have a giveaway which you can join. Just go to our Twitter and click the link on our pin post to win some awesome dice. And remember, if we make it to 500 listens before the giveaway ends, we will give 2 sets away instead of 1. Connected to that is that we made 400 listens and we want to thank you all for this huge milestone. Thank you so much for this, and hey, if you like us and our show, why not rate our reviewers in your podcast platform of your choice? That is the best way to help a podcast and show them support. Also, spoiler warning for the games Greenhell and Greedfall. We go in depth into story and secrets of these games, so if you would like to experience these 2 video games yourself, we recommend skipping this episode. Thank you so much for your continued support of our little project, and now enjoy the episode.
What's up, people? Welcome to the 19th episode of DoubleDM Podcast. With me today, my lovely co-host, Niels. How are you doing?
Hello, guys. Yeah, I'm fine. I have an order coming up I'm excited about.
Oh, tell us about it, please.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah, I ordered a coffee mug with our DoubleDM logo on it and a snapback with it. So it should arrive today, which I'm excited about, and I'm gonna wear the shit out of that cap and nearly drink coffee every morning from my new mug then. So yeah, I'm excited about that.
You normally also drink coffee from a mug now, but now you have a mug with our logo on it.
Yeah, now I can drink coffee in style.
Now we also have to say, this is not merch. Don't get excited.
Not yet, at least.
Not yet, at least. But no, This is still just for us as fun.
Exactly.
With the logo. It's actually also the old logo, right?
No, it's the new one.
Oh, it's the new one.
I removed the background from it and put the PNG on the mug. Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
it's so.
It's my birthday week.
Yeah.
It's my birthday in 2 days as of recording, which means it was my birthday 2 days ago when you listen to this on Sunday the 6th.
Yeah. Sunday the 6th.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
Second birthday in Corona.
Yeah, I won't congratulate you now because that brings bad luck, you know.
Yeah, I know.
So you gotta wait some days now.
Okay, crazy theory time, right?
All right.
In the internet, times are weird.
Yes.
The problem being, my birthday was more or less announced by people already.
Mm-hmm.
My birthday is openly in my Twitter bio, right? You can see that I was born on the 4th of June. But
all right.
Like yesterday, on the 1st, there was an announcement that we will have a birthday party for me at Thursday, which is basically just 1 hour before Friday starts for us in Germany.
All right.
So that was fine, but I already got happy birthday wishes yesterday.
Ah, yes.
And
internet.
Times, right?
People.
So what I propose is the week of your birthday is your birthday now in the internet. There is no specific date, it's only the week. It's only the week that counts.
Your birth week.
Yeah, your birth week.
Basically. Yeah, I can see that.
Like, if you as a friend wish me happy birthday before my birthday, that's bad luck for you. But if you're on the internet and you're a stranger and do that, it's okay as long as it's the week around the birthday. Yeah. Like 3 days before, 3 days after, that's totally fine because obviously times are weird and you don't know when you see what post actually, right? If someone makes a post at like Friday 11:59 and 59 p.m. That's 1 minute before Friday ends, and basically 1 minute before my birthday ends. But their post basically has a day timer of 24 hours. Like, so if someone sees their post, they could congratulate me on my birthday like 24 hours later after my birthday, because their post would still read in this day, in the last 24 hours. So it's what I just want to say is it was strange to me that I already got birthday wishes, because I never made a secret out of my birthday when it is. So it's just when someone posts about it, obviously you only read happy birthday and write happy birthday. So instead of saying this is bad luck, we just say this is the birthday week, and it's fine on the internet.
Yeah, but if I would to congratulate you now, it would be considered to be to bring bad luck. Yeah. So I won't do it.
I also have an announcement of other sort. I'm gonna be on the Carney Sideshow Pyjama Party this Sunday, which is also already over as of this airing of this episode, sadly.
All right.
Yeah, but it was probably fun. I can only imagine. Yeah, sitting in front of the computer in the pyjama is not something I will do for the first time. Let's say that.
Yeah, usually you don't wear anything, right?
Yeah, I'm completely naked when I record these episodes.
Yeah, nice.
Good that we have webcams.
So, oh boy, yeah.
Okay, what happened for you this week?
I just had a huge session again with the 7-player group, but nothing too major happened. They in the last session they killed some yetis and tried to get down the mountain now, but turns out, as a unlucky roll for them but a lucky roll for me, a blizzard came down the mountainside and they were caught in it. And yeah, as you can imagine, climbing down a mountain while it is dark, while you're still exhausted, during a blizzard where you can't fly and can't see more than 30 feet, is a tough one.
It's a tough one.
But yeah. Yeah. But yeah, that's about it.
Nice.
Our rogue got obliterated by a shopkeep.
Oh, what does that
He tried to steal... yeah, he tried to steal one fucking sapphire.
Obviously.
In the shop called the Sapphire Sea, which is run by an retired adventurer.
I know those posts. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that.
He was a level 15 paladin. And yeah, he was a level 2 rogue. So he took 86 damage in one round and was dead.
Is he dead now?
No, he isn't. He got revived, but now he has English word. Schulden. Debt. Thank you. Now he has a huge debt on his hand, which you have to pay back to the shopkeep.
Hey.
So yeah, that's a fun one.
That's always a fun one.
So did anything happen in your week?
Oh yeah, I had a lot of stuff actually. I had on Sunday last week, we had another session of my Phantoms of Chaos campaign where my players are still in the big capital city of Sonderheim and are basically just running around doing their own stuff, figuring out what to do next. Again, this campaign is very sandboxy and I'm just gonna let them do whatever they want, and they stayed in the city trying to find people. They wanted to get into the magic ward, which was closed off for some reasons, which are not quite clear to the public, but the public accepts it because it was not. It's normal that this ward gets closed sometimes. It's normal because the city has a very strong connection to the Feywild. A very strong connection. Right. And that very strong connection sometimes manifests in portals opening up in the city or for something. Especially in the magic ward and in the regent's ward where the queen resides. Those 2 wards are only accessible if you are allowed to access them, at least for the time now. Since the Fey magic running in there could potentially be a danger to you, or you could be a danger to others with the Fey magic in it. My players, obviously, seeing a closed door, needing to open it,
obviously, like players
tried
do.
to find a lot of ways to get in, because at the gate was closed and was only opened if you had a paper that allows you to get in, or if you want to get out. When you're in, we're already thinking, okay, if the next person goes out, I'm gonna make you invisible, you run through, and then you're in, and then we are happy on something, and I was like, what actually do you want to do in there? It's the Magic Academy, plus the home of all the mages, plus the home of everyone else. But honestly, I don't understand why you would try to get in there. Like, there was one thing. There was an NPC that they have talked to before, but is now away. But, like, they don't have any reason to go in there. Or at least not one I can see. So I let them do that. Then they find out that they can do paperwork to get in, and they filled out the paperwork. Then they wait, and basically they did a lot of stuff, personal things, like I'm gonna go to the temple and pray a bit. I'm gonna go buy some stuff for me, and all that sort of stuff. And I'm hoping next session, which will be next week on Thursdays? Yeah, that will be hopefully a session where they will do something.
Yeah, doing something can help bringing plot and stuff along.
Yeah. We played that session earlier than usual at like 10 a.m., which is a bad time for a lot of us because we sleep until 11.
Yeah, as you do.
As you do as a student. Because we, 3 of us, me included, had a tournament that weekend, the Prime League, Saturday and Thursday, Saturday and Sunday. And yeah, it went very well, actually. Very, very well.
Congratulations on that.
Yeah, and now next week starts the official season, which will be 7 weeks long. 1 week preparation for a game of League of Legends, or 2 games actually, against an opponent of our skill level, trying to climb the ranks of more or less professional esport in Germany. Pretty cool.
Yeah, you could say that. Yeah. Good luck for that.
Thank you. So
we should dive into today's topic, right?
Yes, we should. And I think I'm gonna take over from here because you will be the first one to answer today.
Yeah.
So, our topic for today was, again, inspiration. Finding inspiration. So, we are both gamers, right? We both like to game. We like to play the joysticks and the keyboards and whatnot, right?
Yes, a lot.
Okay.
Like a fucking lot.
Yeah.
You know?
So, what we did was each one of us took one video game he liked and basically prepared a little bit to make it into a TTRPG adventure campaign setting, or even a rule book or something. So how we to show the process of finding inspiration. Like, again, finding inspiration is different for everybody. As with everything we do on this show, it's listen to us, do our stuff, how we do it, make your own opinion of it, and do it your style. We can't tell you that this is the best way to do stuff, because it might not be the best way to do stuff for you. So just listen to us and evaluate what we do. And if you think what we do is shit, that's perfectly fine, because then you will find your own way of doing it. And then we have done the thing we want to do with this podcast. So
inspire you to do your own thing.
Exactly. So we took video games, and basically each of us took one video game, and I can tell you that decision was very hard for me. I don't know if it was hard for you, Niels.
Kind of. Once I fixated on the genre I wanted to take, it was pretty easy, but finding the genre I wanted to use was a hard one because I play a lot of different ones.
Yeah, I took 5 games that were not so popular known in the TTRPG space, probably, which was the only thing I wanted to do. I didn't want to take a game that everyone has heard of before in the space, which would just defeat the point of showing how to make this, because probably other people have already thought about it and maybe did it even. So, in the process, this episode is obviously also shout out to our friends at Phantasmal Fires Inc., who do this as a full podcast the whole time. They always dissect some sort of media into TTRPG adventure or what you can draw from them for TTRPGs. And it's amazing. So.
That's awesome.
Nils.
Yeah.
What game did you choose?
I chose the game Greenhell. I think it is out of early access right now. Ooh. So it is a full game. Not sure on that one. But yeah, It is a survival game. And I chose it because I love survival games, survival crafting games. It has a co-op and I'm playing it with some friends right now a lot. And yeah, I love it.
There's one survival game I like. There's only one. I don't know. Well, obviously you could count Minecraft to that. But I'm gonna say
Minecraft is Minecraft. Minecraft is a different thing.
It's completely different than everything else. You can count it in this genre, but no, it's still something different.
Minecraft has its own genre.
Yeah, Minecraft is Minecraft.
That's the thing.
There is nothing like Minecraft. And that's Correct. Ark Survival Evolved. I don't know why I don't like other ones, but I like Ark. It could be...
Because it's fucking dinosaurs, you know?
Yeah, but it's not the dinosaurs.
What's there not to like about that?
It's not the dinosaurs that I really... Like, okay, obviously, yes, I like the dinosaurs because they're fucking cool. But no, I don't know why I don't like survival games that much. It could be just because Ark is the only game I really play with friends. Like, I have friends that I want to play Ark with, and we did a few months ago. We played 100 hours of Ark or something in like a span of a month. And
yeah, I remember.
Then we just stopped again. This is typical for survival games, I feel like. You can play them in like 2 weeks and only play them, and after that you won't touch them for 6 or 7 months again until new content is added. And then you will try it, and then you will do the whole process again.
Exactly.
So, Greenhell, what's this game about? Give me a synopsis of the game.
So, basically, you are an anthropologist, I think, traveling with your wife to the Amazonian jungle, where your wife is supposed to talk and communicate with some native tribes there, because she's the only one who is already accepted in the tribe, and they're pretty skeptical of new ones and stuff like that.
Obviously.
She's also one of the only ones who studied those tribes, so she knows some sort of the language and their social structure. And yeah, it works well for about 10-20 days, and then suddenly the connection between you two stops. So you venture out into the jungle to find your missing wife, which then fails because you fall unconscious and are now alone in the jungle and have to survive. Your task now is to obviously survive until you found your wife and to find clues where your wife might be without any modern technology, if you would like to say it like that. You have your walkie-talkie kind of thing, but without anyone hearing it, it's useless. So you don't have a lighter, you don't have anything, really. Not even a knife. So, yeah. That's basically what the game is about.
Survival games, obviously, I think define themselves through the something I would call the first night, or something like the first 24 hours of this of the instance you play in a survival game are the most crucial, right? You need to find you need to learn the ropes and find your way to survive. So
exactly.
How does the game actually start for you? Like, what's the first thing you need to do? What are things you need to do in general at the beginning?
There is no such thing as a basic. Basically, there is no tutorial, if you want to say it like that. You have some sort of notebook where you have several things you should do to survive, like finding shelter, finding fresh water source, and finding where you could get your nutrients from, which is in the game you have to manage how many carbohydrates, fats, and proteins you get, which is difficult, especially weirdly the fat part, because those can only be found in certain types of nuts you can eat. Carbohydrates, there are banana plants all over, so there's no real struggle with that. For proteins, you have to go hunting, like hunting fish or small animals. But yeah, that's not so hard to come by, but the fat is really difficult.
So it's a lot about food at the beginning. You need to find a way to get food.
Food and shelter.
Okay.
Because if you sleep without shelter, you will get diseases and parasites.
Oh, okay. That was the next thing I'm gonna ask about, because survival games make themselves good for me if they have a lot of like the first survival games probably only had like a health bar, a food bar, and that's it. But nowadays, survival games have a disease bar, or even several disease bars for several different diseases. A stamina bar, like you have all of these conditions and all of these stats, and what is like the ecosystem of the resources you as a player have, like HP, stamina, and all that sort of stuff. How is that like? Is there something about it? Something special?
It's a lot to manage, because you have a health bar which corresponds with your stamina bar. You have 3 different kind of food nutrients you have to keep track of. You have your hydration level. Then you have different kinds of wounds you have to close with different types of bandages or processes to clean wounds, or how can you get parasites out? How you now have a worm under your skin. How can you peel it out? All that kind of stuff. It's a lot to comprehend sometimes, and it can be really frustrating at first, because the first 1 or 2 days in this game are really, really fucking hard, because once you have your shelter, you don't have to waste that much energy on building stuff and chopping down trees, and can focus more on foraging. But the first day you have to manage kind of finding something to eat to survive, and finding or building enough stuff that you don't die of anything the jungle throws at you while you're sleeping.
Okay, so one last question. You mentioned your wife is missing. You need she's probably with one of those tribes, right?
Probably.
So you have these natives in the jungle. How do they interact with you, or how do you interact with them? What's this like, this whole situation of you being in the jungle and the natives being in the jungle? And as you already said, those natives are not so keen of strangers, and you're probably a stranger, right?
Exactly. What I figured from how much I played it until now, I haven't finished it yet, but you're somewhat in the hunting grounds or in the patrolling grounds of the tribal villages. So it's pretty rare that you meet the natives, actually. But when you do, they don't immediately attack, but they will stalk you for a bit. And I had this happen to me once. Once I went to sleep because I would fall unconscious because I didn't manage my health and stamina bar enough. They attacked me in my sleep.
Aye.
So yeah, they wait for a opportunity to attack you.
Oh,
sometimes.
Okay. So it's more about the creepy aspect of them being there, right? Like them
Exactly.
stalking you, them following you around. Maybe I don't know, but maybe you see a stray arrow or spear flying towards you, but never see the enemy. Like
exactly, that happens a lot.
Oh, okay. So it's less like the game The Forest, which is also a survival game about natives, where those natives, I think, are more aggressive.
Yeah, they will outright attack you and hunt you and won't make a big deal out of it if they see you. So they will see you and they will attack you. This isn't the case in Greenhell, because the fights are much harder because of the wound system you have in there.
That's interesting.
Because once you get it isn't like you hit and you're dead. Not like that, but you don't want to get hit at all, because if you get hit, you will have some sort of abrasion or a deep cut, which you then have to
you have to tend to the
process.
Wounds.
And depending on what kind of wound you have, you need different sort of medicine or medical attention.
That's amazing.
And if you don't tend to those wounds, they can fester. Then you need to do other stuff with it. So it doesn't bring you anything to bandage a festering wound, because it's still festering.
Okay.
So you have to first get the infection out of this wound somehow, and then bandage it again. So, yeah.
Okay.
You want to limit your fighting to a bare minimum. Just if you're attacked, you want to do the fighting.
Okay, that's cool. So, you mentioned the wife. She's missing.
Yes.
Is the game in the game there really any progression in this story? Do you find her? Do you find clues about her? Do you is there some real progression, or is it just like this is the motivator for you to get into the jungle, but then it's you in the jungle?
At the beginning there wasn't, but with the full release, I think what it is, or later stages in the early access, there came a lot of story elements. You find when you venture forth through the jungle, you find different clues what might have transpired here, because there is some sort of abandoned gold mine, there are some abandoned tribal villages, and you find different pieces of paper which have scribbled notes upon them, where you can read something what might have transpired there. And one day your radio clicks and your wife speaks to you.
Oh,
yeah. She's saying she's in the base camp where she has always been, and now you're left there because you got a call from her while you were at the base camp that something terrible happened. So, how will you find your way back?
Wait. You were at the base camp. You get a call that something is wrong.
So you run out into the jungle to find her.
Okay, and then you get radioed at some point in time that she never left the base camp?
No, that she was away from the base camp but came back and her husband was missing.
So did she make that call that you heard?
I don't know yet. I haven't played through it all. So, yes, I am excited and terrified.
Woo!
Because you have different checkpoints story-wise. There are some ritual bowls where you have to drink some ayahuasca. Is it called? Some sort of psychedelic ritual thing? I don't know. But when you drink this, you get visions on what has happened in the past. And you can ask your wife about it through the radio. But the radio has a limited battery time. So there's this part of things you have to manage again.
That's ugly.
Yeah. It is.
So you're the one taking drugs in the jungle, and you wonder why you have this strange call from your wife that something is wrong in the jungle while she never left the jungle.
Exactly. And I forgot one thing, one resource you have to manage. It is called your insanity or your sanity.
Oh, obviously! You can go insane.
You can get insane and then hear different voices or things in the jungle which aren't there, but you're not sure.
Oh, that's especially good for a video game, right? Because you basically just have to play the sound file of like a a big tribal
warrior or something.
Yeah, behind you that attacks you, and you in the game you have to turn around, right? Because
and you bet your ass the game does this.
Oh my god, that's incredible!
And sometimes you know when you're insane, but you don't know if the sound you're hearing is true or is coming from your
paranoid.
insanity. You bet your ass it is.
That makes one so paranoid. Oh my god!
It's ugly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Calm down. Okay, break it down for me. How would you bring this into a TTRPG? What are the key aspects you would draw from this? And especially also, which would you drop?
Let's start with the easy one, which would be which aspects I would drop, because there isn't a lot of things I would drop, just the macro elements of the nutrition. Like how many carbohydrates, fats, and proteins you're getting. That's a lot to track to make it realistic, so I just would disregard that and say you have some sort of hunger bar, like in the older survival games, to make it a little more streamlined, a little bit more practical.
Okay, yeah, understandable.
Then I would go heavy on this survival and disease and wound management kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. To find plants, find for example for infested wounds, find maggots you can use, but not any type of maggot, and that's what I would go heavy on, and finding different landmarks to help orient yourself.
So orientation is big important, right?
Exactly, because you don't have a map with a live tracker on.
Well, how would one do that in a TTRPG, though?
Yeah, that's a thing I'm a little stuck on, but that's something I would like to introduce there. I'm not sure how I would do it, but I would like to try at least.
I can understand. Well, it's like a big tabletop game, right? And you may need to now this is probably not practical, right? But if you have this
working with a big map and describing different things, and the players have to connect things you say to the map
but
you have.
Obviously the players now also have a top-down view if you show them the map, like so you would have to have the map but not show that to your players, right?
No, I would show it to the players, because in Greenhell you get some piece of map, but it's like just showing the height differences and lakes and rivers.
Okay,
nothing more.
You could always like you have this full map, like, and you see here this is a big tree in the jungle, right? At some point, and your players venture around it, so you can say you see this very big tree. And them writing down, we have this very big tree, and from there we need to go north to get back to our camp. And then on the journey back, you basically look where they walk, and there's no, like, because normally I'm the type of person that skips the journey back home, right? It's boring. If you ventured somewhere into a dungeon, going back to the city is boring. So I just skip it. Yes. But here, the journey back is just as interesting as the journey there, because
towards it,
because it could be a whole new adventure. You could meet tribal natives, you could meet animals, you could get lost or something.
You could meet fucking animal predators, like jaguars or panthers or something.
Yeah.
Or you could step on a poisonous snake, which then bites you, and now you have to fight a poison.
Exactly. So,
which is terrifying.
So how would you try to get the jungle to be this very dangerous environment? Like with poison snakes, apex predators, natives, you have a lot of stuff to work with, right?
Yeah.
I have an idea for that.
I'm all ears.
a lot of random tables.
Yeah, that's probably the way to go.
The jungle is unpredictable, right? And on the topic of random tables, you don't have to use them if you don't like them, right? You can make the jungle seem random as the DM without any random rolls, because I'm normally not the type of person that uses random tables. I use them not to roll on them. I use them to get inspiration for just the encounters that I plan. But the jungle is unpredictable, and so having a lot, and I mean a lot of different things, like a lot of different apex predators, tribal encounters, getting lost, poisonous plants, poisonous animals, all of these sort of things that you have could all make for a very interesting experience if they seem random to the players. If your players cannot predict what is happening in the jungle, that's gonna be cool. That's gonna be, because then you already get that paranoia we were talking about without the insanity, because now they are becoming paranoid of what could happen.
Exactly. And that's the feeling I would like to go for with this sort of adventure.
Okay, nice.
Obviously finding different things to help further your searching or venturing radius around your base. For example, if you want to climb this mountain or hillside or cliffside, you need some sort of grappling hook. You first have to find this to venture forth there. Or you could try climbing up there, but it's hard without the proper gear. Something like that. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, I totally get that. Yes. So what aspect of that of that game I would probably drop is not the story itself, but different. I would have to build a different story, because it could be a solo TTRPG, right? Where the story is fine, but
it would be good for a do-it player actually too.
Yeah, I could imagine that in the multiplayer, you all play a copy of the same person. Like, it's just the model copied to be several times there, so you're always this. Like, there is no story explaining why there are 3 different people there, or like 2 different people there with you.
Yeah.
So that would obviously have to be explained if you have a group. What is very interesting, you could make a base camp somewhere and basically put a lot of people in there and basically make it a lot of people management too. You have these different kinds of people, and you can basically you have the camp where when you're in the camp, your players can play whatever character they want, but they can decide to, like, they have, like, let's talk with stereotypes, right? You have the big, strong, beefy dude, you have the scientist lady, you have the crazy dude with TNT or something. And you can basically select which characters you want to take on ventures across the jungle. That could be fun.
Yeah, and I thought about what type of your rule set I would like to use for that. And as you mentioned, this sounds like a good idea for a travel not advised thing. That we playtested.
Yeah, maybe. That
could be adopted for that.
Could be adopted, yeah. That's
and definitely no system without or a system without classes. So D&D wouldn't be perfect for it, because just pick the ranger class and you will have you don't have to worry about food for yourself. So that's not the point of this type of TTRPG I would like to play in. There's the rule set of tiers, or how to be a hero, from the German online TV channel Rocket Beans they created.
Yeah.
This would be good for that, because there aren't any classes, but you have different skills where you can put your points into.
I was about to say, there you shouldn't play heroes in this game, right? Any game that basically makes your characters heroes makes it
wouldn't be suited for
wouldn't
it.
be really suited because if you play the epic heroes, you mostly disregard the inconveniences like food and water, which are very important in this game. Like, you can play this in D&D if you want to play a jungle setting, right? But I think to really get this survival experience, you need a system that obviously focuses on survival aspects. So, a system that has a food system, a system that has a drinking and disease system, a very thought out one, would be needed for this.
Yeah.
And obviously those are also the driving factors of this type of game, right? You have food, water, diseases, survival in general. Combat, like you said, is very interesting in this as well. Like, the combat needs to be not very complex, but the system that's behind it, the wound system again, that the aftermath of combat needs to be very detailed.
Exactly. So there would be a lot of adjusting systems and creating things that fit into different kinds of systems for the wound and disease management.
So survival aspect of food and water getting, and food, water, shelter, like survival, diseases and wounds are another big aspect, and foraging and crafting, right?
Exactly.
So those are the three aspects that the system would need for this type of game to work as best as you think it can. That's very interesting. I like that. I would play that, and I think you would too, right?
Exactly. I would love to.
I would love to play in that. That's amazing.
Maybe we can get on this for an actual play kind of thing.
Maybe we can. Maybe we can write our own system for it.
Yeah. Let's put a pin in that and think about it.
I have put a pin in that.
Very good. So, that's basically the inspiration I got from Greenhell.
Nice.
So, what game did you choose and why?
Oh yeah, I chose Greedfall. And I did choose Greedfall, first of all, because I want people to play it. I think this game is heavily underrated and underplayed. It needs to be played more. It deserves this because it's an indie game, more or less. It's an indie RPG. And it should...
Yeah, I like those.
It should deserve more players because it's secretly amazing. It looks amazing. It feels amazing. The whole story feels good. It's also quite short. It's not a Witcher where you have to put 100 hours into. It's like 30 hours long only, which is okay for the price it gives you. Like, if it's on sale ever on Steam or somewhere, buy it. It's a great game you can play. Trust me.
All right. I will look into that.
Yeah.
So, tell me, what is this game about?
Oh, okay. So, Greedfall is about your player character. You play... it's an action RPG where you play as Lord or Lady Desare. You are a rich kid of the Congregation of Merchants, which is a faction on the main continent of merchants. They make their money and fame through trade and good offers and stuff. You are sent as a legate to your cousin Constantine, who will be the governor of Tir for the congregation. Tir is the island the game is set on. You have like 1 hour on the mainland where you basically just play, which is more or less the tutorial area. And before you go, you have a boss fight with a big tree monster. And I mean huge motherfucking big. And basically it is told this is a guardian of the island. These are the creatures that live on the island. Or some of them. And they were brought back by the Nords. The Nords are one of the 6 main factions in the game. You have the Congregation of Merchants, which are traders and merchants. You have the Nords, who are pirates, or less pirates and more like just sailors. They are sailors, and you can only get into the Nords if you are either born as the kid of a Nord, so you need to be born into a Nord family, or you were born on the sea. That's the only 2 ways you can actually become one of these sailors. And they are basically the main transportation in the game. They are the faction that basically handles all trade across sea. Like, they handle how you get from A to B overseas. You have the Bridge Alliance, which are scientists. You have Thelemi, which are religious fanatics, you could say. They are just a religious country. You have the Coin Guard, which are mercenaries and soldiers who work for coin. And you have the natives of the island, the natives of Tier 3D. You have these 6 factions, and obviously you have all of them more or less present stereotypes. You have people, you have the merchants, you have the sailors, you have scientists, you have religious people, you have natives, and you have mercenaries. Simple 6 stereotypes, goodies. On the island, it is your task to forge diplomatic relationships with the other factions for the Congregation of Merchants. You do this through quests and diplomatic meetings with them. You will also have companions, named Ciora, Petrus, Afra, Kurt, and Vasco, which are all part of one of these factions. They all have personal quests, ties to the land, ties to people, and yes, you can also bone them if you want.
Nice.
You have basically 2 main storylines. Find a cure to the plague, or not the plague, but something along the lines of the Black Plague. That plagues the homeland, and your own mother is also terminally ill from that, and you need to find a cure to heal her. And again, forge these relationships with the people.
All right.
Now, since all of these main factions, except the natives, come to this island as invaders and conquerors, the natives are not happy with you there, right? And this is how you meet Ciora. She is basically the one that says, hey, the natives are unhappy, but I am willing to work with you to strengthen the relationship between natives and mainlanders, I'm just gonna call them. You also learn of the Donega, who are basically magic users. They possess some supernatural connection to the earth and the land, and also those guardians, those boss monsters I talked about. You learn of the guard of the people who might be the cure to the disease. This is one thing. Right. This is very set early on in the game. You learn that this guard might be the way to cure this disease you have on the mainland. You don't have this disease. I think you're actually immune to it, even, which is very cool.
Okay.
But you don't know why. And the game has a lot of mystery around already. You learn you are actually a native.
Okay.
You were born to a native mother, but now get this, on the sea. So you're like I said, you are now also part of the Nords. You are a Nord because you were born at sea, but you're also a native. But you were raised as a congregation of merchants, lord or lady. So you already have a lot of different ties to a lot of different people, which is good. You also learn that Petrus, the one from Thelemi, the religious people, is someone you knew from your childhood. I think he was your caretaker even. He was the one who he was your teacher, I think. He taught you a lot of things about politics. So you have a lot of ties to different people already.
That's awesome.
Now, get this. You come back after like 5, 6, 7 hours, or even 8, 9, 10, something along those lines, and your brother now has this plague. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, he has a plague. Okay, now you need to find a cure for him, right? because he's the governor of the island for you. He cannot die. As you leave the palace or the regent's building or whatever, you discover that the coin guard, who were hired by all the different factions on the island from the main continent, except the natives again, have started a coup d'etat to overthrow every single government on the island.
Oh boy.
And that's basically...
Oh boy.
You need to stop this. And this is such a cool act because it's like 2 to 3 hours long of you having to fight the people that kept you safe before.
Yeah, nice. Nice. A little twist on morality. That's awesome.
But that's only like halfway through the game.
Oh boy.
You then discover this native healer who is not able to cure your cousin Constantine, the governor, but he can ease the process. Like, he can make the pain go away. They both then go missing.
Of course.
And the game doesn't even necessarily lead you in the path of this healer. His name is Katasak. Stole your brother or taking him hostage and took him away. That's not, the game doesn't even lead you to that, but you always start to think that, because like the game obviously leads you down that road of thought, because everyone is skeptic of this native healer, and then then out of the blue they go missing, so you connect the dots. He actually only took him on a healing journey to heal him at different places. You find them, everything is good. But now, no, Katasak is dead. The High King of the island has taken your cousin, Constantine, captive, cause he's evil. You stop the High King, you bring Constantine back. But dun dun dun! Constantine is now a Donegat, and the Donegat are these people with these supernatural powers and connection to the earth. He was made into one of the Islanders' mages.
Oh boy. Yeah.
Now you learn that you need to basically speak to this Enol Mephrictomon, who is the guard of the island, to get into this. To get into the sanctuary. Do you need to talk to him? Do you need to get into the sanctuary? But only the High King that you just killed could open that. So you need a new High King. And now comes another big cool twist. You now rig the election of the new High King to your advantage. So the High King you want becomes the new High King.
All right.
So you have a lot of twists in this game. It's a lot of story-driven game. Then you meet this Enol Mephrictomon. He says the plague is a punishment for your people since they were on the island before. Like, this is not the first time your people landed on the island. Fuck you. Take this plague with you. Die, please. He then says, okay, I will somewhat help you, blah, blah, blah. He also says, Constantine is evil. Again, like, 2 people have already said that. You don't believe him. Well, you kind of start to do. Because Constantine is evil. What you find out is your own cousin, the governor of the island, or the governor of the merchants' congregation, has become corrupted and addicted to the power of the island. So he corrupts the island, and at the end of the game, you have this ability. You have the choice of killing him or joining him and becoming a god. That choice is very simple normally, because he's clearly evil. So the choice is normal, that you kill him and return peace to the island, right? That choice might be a little bit weak on its own, but the twists that led to it were the big ones. This coup d'etat, your brother having the plague, you being one of the natives, and then also your brother becoming evil, becoming the main villain, even though you thought it wasn't him, even though you thought it was the god or even the High King or something. So you have a lot of twists. Mechanically, the game is like every RPG. You have a skill tree, you can choose your route, like are you a melee combat fighter, are you a ranged fighter with a shotgun or a sniper rifle? Do you try to go a little bit into the magic side? Because I think you can actually also go a little bit into the magic side, if I remember correctly.
Nice.
Yeah, that's the scam.
So, then
you should probably put a spoiler warning at the beginning for both games.
Yeah, we will do that, definitely. Then let me ask you, how would you bring this into a TTRPG world?
Okay.
What aspects would you drop? Which would you go heavy?
I would drop the aspect of there being a main character.
Yes.
I would drop that aspect fast. I would, it's okay. Like, we basically saw the world through the eyes of one of them. I think we have 6 companions, which basically could make up a perfect party. So, basically giving your players these 6 factions and saying you can choose one of them for your character and basically build your character in those. Are you a native? And then you bring them together somehow. I think it's very fun to give I would drop everything that has to do with the main character normally, because it's the main character, and those normally do not work in TTRPGs. Like, he is a player character. If you flesh out the other 5 companions as well, like this, then it would work. But since you have one main character, I would drop every aspect about them and make them basically a blank slate for you to put into the world. Like, you have the 6. I would definitely keep the 6 factions. Or even...
obviously.
Or at least I would have 6 factions and basically give my players the choice from which they want to come and then write their story with them. I would definitely keep the mystery around the island and the gods and the god of it and the guardians, because those are damn well epic boss monsters. What I would also drop is probably the ease of the beginning. It feels very, because you're a diplomat, you are welcomed into every one of the cities on the island for the different factions. I would make that a little bit harder as the first challenge of the game. As soon as you are together, as everyone's together or something, make it a little harder to get these political discussions and diplomatic meetings together. Because basically you just walk up to the ruler of the country and say, I want to talk, and they talk with you, which I would make it a little bit harder.
That's... You want a little challenge to
get
your political intrigue plots going.
Exactly. I would keep the political intrigue of it. Like,
obviously,
that is cool.
Political intrigue is interesting, funny, sometimes.
You have these 2. I would also keep the plague as the driving force on the main continent, which is basically just something I can throw in there at sporadic times to have a new drive, like was done with Constantine. He now has a plague. Now you have something else to do, right? After the first act, now he has the plague. I also... that's basically everything I would draw and drop. I would take up definitely the special key aspect I would definitely take are the skill trees or the skills. Because those make the game very unique, because you can basically build your party of 3 in the game, which is an aspect I would drop, because you may want to have more players or less. But those skill trees are makeable so that you can build your own party composition. So I would keep those skill trees in some way or another. So you can have this progression system, because now here you are supposed to be somewhat heroes and not normal people, like with your thing.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
So, is there a system you would use or would recommend, or what does the system you want to play in need to provide to make the best experience for that kind of play?
It needs to have a good dynamic combat system, a very dynamic combat system. It needs to have very, very little magic in it. Like, D&D has every class except the monk and barbarian get spells.
But with new subclasses, like the 4 elements monk is somewhat spellish, and the wild magic barbarian somewhat works with it. So every class has some sort of access to some sort of
they have some access to magic. But I was talking about the literal spell casting, because obviously, literal spell casting is very sporadic in this game. It's not that you can throw 5 firebolts at someone. That's not how this game works. It's So that's definitely something I would need to look out for. You need to have a lot less magic. So D&D might work. At least the dice engine of D&D will work. A D20, roll high, over DC, add bonus, advantage, disadvantage, and all that stuff. But as soon as we introduce magic into the game, it needs to be very sporadic. It needs to be very simple. That's basically the 2 big things that this game would need to portray. It needs to have a skill progression tree, but less of a sort of you choose a class and progress through a skill tree there. Then more you have this big asset of skills you can choose. And basically, like in the Witcher game, right? Where you this is also subclass based, but you can basically build your own skill tree, and a little bit like that.
Mix and match.
Exactly.
Everything from those to suit the needs you have right now.
I think it needs to be highly modular, which D&D is, but in a different sense. D&D is modular of you choose option A, and now you get A1, A2, A3. But what I would need is you need to choose between option A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And if you choose A, you can choose A1, A2, A3, B, C, D, E, E. Right? You need to build your own build out of everything to make it highly modular. That's basically the key aspects of the game. Drawing for the game's story. What the system needs to provide there would probably be not much. You don't need a lot of stuff for the story to work, because it's very simple on paper. If you look at it, you have talk a lot with people. There's a coup d'etat. Now go find information, kill some monsters, and that. So story-wise, it does not need to provide much. The game. It should have some sort of disease system and wound system, because those are also in the game. I just remembered, especially with this plague. This is this plague is supposed to be something that makes you terminally ill and kills you at some point. So it's simple to work that into any kind of game. But again, the combat system is very dynamic, so it doesn't need to feel cinematic, but dynamic, where
fluent for at the most.
Yeah, exactly. Because you combine a lot of elements. You have shotguns, but also a lot of people fight with swords. You have a lot of people fighting with some sort of magic. Again, this a
little kind of a pirate era kind of equipment, weaponry kind of thing, because you have people fighting with swords, but still guns and
you have these sporadic rifles and shotguns and all that stuff. It needs to accompany a lot of equipment. I think a lot of equipment is good. Because there's also, I think, a simple alchemy system and foraging system in the game. But those are minor, so I wouldn't say the system needs to pay attention to that. Yeah. That's basically it.
So, I think we're done.
I think we are.
Yeah. So, as a conclusion, you can draw a lot from the video games you enjoy. You don't have to, or you shouldn't copy the game one for one, like an exact copy of the game. You can take elements of certain games which you like. For example, if I want to make a mixture of the two games we have discussed right now, for example, I want to take the fluent combat system and the setting of Greedfall, but with the wound and disease and food management, for example, of Greenhell. You can take and mix and match every single element of video games you enjoy. And you have to do it yourself. It sounds like a lot, but you just have to do it. And
we just did, right?
Yeah, exactly. So you have to experiment with it a lot to make it work like you want it to work. Because if you adopt something from a video game, you want to make it as a feeling that you experienced when you played the game yourself. And this feeling you want to convey to your players. So you have to experiment a lot. And playtest. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely what I would say too. Especially, you are the game engine, right?
Exactly.
You need to drive this game for your players. But again, don't expect them to feel the same kind of connection to the game that you did. Which is why I would not highly recommend doing only video game. Like, TTRPGs offer so much more, right? This is just us looking at video games and what inspires us to do stuff in TTRPGs. Like, we don't want to... I don't want to necessarily play Greedfall in a TTRPG. Like, then if I want to do that, I can just play the game. But what I can look at Greedfall is, okay, it has this very dynamic combat system. It has a story of political intrigue and mystery. How do I build that in my worlds? How do they do it?
Exactly.
How can I adapt that to my worlds? It's always look at the concepts of something and draw the concepts out.
And that's what we would like you to do with this podcast. Because we give you our opinions on how you could or what things you should look at if you want to adopt specific certain things from it and make it your own and converse it to your own system.
Yeah. For example, our homebrew rules, right? Those are our rules, but honestly, if you think one of those rules is shit and you don't want it, then don't use it. Right? We can't tell you what to do. It's your game. Have fun how you want to have fun. But what we can only show you is how we make the process of how the game becomes fun for us. And we hope that you can see with that the game becomes how you can make the game more fun to you.
Exactly. So, I think we're at the end now.
Yeah.
So, you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at DoubleDM Pod. And we have a Discord server. The link is in our link tree, which is pinned in the message on Twitter, I think. Right?
Yeah.
Alrighty. So, thanks for listening and hear you on the next one.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.